Hello, good evening, and welcome to your favorite show on national television, Crossroads, brought to you by the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, and it forms part of the Virtual Youth Development Program. As always, I am your host, Kareem Nelson, and joined by
Jaka Wooding, and thank you so much for being back with us here after such a long break. We are certainly happy to be back, and we're doing it in a big way because tonight we are discussing local talent but outside of the arts. We are joined by some young, inspiring, and very successful athletes who actually participated in the Carifta Games just recently. Are you excited to get into today's episode, Kareem?
I'm very much excited. I think we're actually in the presence of, I believe, 2 future Olympians, hopefully. So I'm excited to
I'm waiting to see it happen.
Speak with them. Yeah.
First on stage, well, we have with us Mr. Jeremiah Felix. Jeremiah, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing amazing every day.
Every day, I love that energy.
Yeah. So just tell the people a little bit about yourself, just a short
Oh,
intro.
for those who don't know me, my name is Jeremiah Felix, born and raised St. Lucian, motivated athlete since when I was an infant, and my sport is just pole vault. Yeah. Oh, I'm 18 by the way.
18
Yeah.
years
For
old.
those who don't know, I'm 18 by the way. Yeah. 'Cause most people don't think I'm 18. I'm just saying it out there. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to believe me. You might have to ask him for some ID.
Yeah. So, without getting into it too much, why pole vault? Why did you decide to take that sport?
For me, the sport is just so exciting. I don't see the fear that the athletes have with the sport. I know, like, you're gonna have a fear falling from a height, but for me, I'm so passionate because I used to doing risky stuff. So sport is like a little risky. So the passion I have for the sport, I never had any passion for track and field whatsoever because I was actually quitting track and field.
Okay.
Yeah, I was quitting boxing, track and field. I was just done with that. And then one day my dad just told me, my brother CJ, who went to Carifta prior, he just said, just join my brother because I heard about pole vault, but I never knew what it was. So I said, okay, I went to the meet. I saw those guys flying through the air. I was like, are those dudes crazy? That was my first impression, like, are those dudes, what are they doing? And then I saw, like, it's not that they're crazy, it's an exciting sport. And then I came to the coach. I said, hey coach, I wanna come and just try the sport for a while. He said, okay, the first practice, hang by him. Next practice practice is gonna get me in. Next practice get me in, and I just fell in love.
Cool.
Who says
That's an
that looks
inspiring
so
story.
crazy? Let me do that. That's crazy. And I mean, you have been doing so well at it.
Yeah.
So would you say it was that initial burst of interest that made you fall in love with the sport, or was there a specific moment, maybe in one of your trainings, that made you know this is it for
It
me?
was basically just flying through the air, falling from a height. That's basically what it was.
Are you a superhero fan?
Nah, I get my adrenaline from doing like some kind of exciting thing or some risky thing. It just has to pump me up.
A daredevil?
And yeah.
So I think instead of maybe, talking about your high flying, maybe we should show our audience and the people watching at home some of that high flying. So just take a little insight into who Jeremiah Felix is.
Alexander Felix, I born 1957, 29th of May. I born in St. Lucia and Slurry. Then I lived in Madden for a while. I played cricket almost 30-something years there. And I come back to St. Lucia in 1994, 95. I settled back in St. Lucia. Then I come back and I make 2 kids, CJ Felix and Jeremiah Felix. And then when they were started going preschool, when they go in preschool, they were going preschool in Cul-de-sac. And from Cul-de-sac, I decided now I want them to go to school up the Mon, because of the Mon, like, I had a chance for them to go to school in town. Then they went to Carmen Rainey. Growing up as a child, he was aggressive, everything, you always want to be first. And one day they had a thing in the field in Marigot, and they bring him to CJ and him to sports, and he come out second. And I said, Jerry, you have it in you. You have to do sports. He said, oh, Daddy. I said, yes. I said, come on, you read everything. Then he liked boxing. He can box very good. He was doing boxing. Then one day I watched him. I said, no, that's too much a punch. you know. Then I said, okay, you have to do something else. Then and CJ was going with Kiba, and CJ had to go to La Clery and do that same thing pole vault. And one day I said, Jerry, why you don't go with CJ? He said, Daddy, I said, come on, go with CJ. Go and just see what CJ doing. Maybe you like it. And it start from there, and then he's going in sports. And when I see, and all of a sudden, he said, Daddy, I love pole vault. When you love pole vault, when Jerry? The last person who was pole vault in St. Lucia, that was a white man. You know, he said, Daddy, I love it, and things like that. Then he said, I jump in good, I jump in good, I jump in good, and more he come in, and I tell him, do it, go ahead, do it, and I get a medal out of it.
Hi, my name is Andy Bale. I'm the Assistant Program Director at the St. Lucia Sports Academy and also the Program Director of the Mon Repos Athletics Academy and the Pole Vault St. Lucia program. I've known Jeremiah Felix since late 2019 when he came into one of our pole vaulting practices that we had at the Jump Center at the Patricia D. James Secondary School in La Clery. He came with his older brother as it was his first practice and I had older athletes to work with. I put him on the side. But by the second practice when he came in, it was evident quite early that he had a real talent for this event. Within a few months, Jeremiah emerged as the school's champion at the 2019 Inter-Secondary Schools Pole Vault Championships exhibition. He jumped 3.25 meters, or just about 11 feet at the time. He also placed well at the street vault on the boulevard that followed a few days later on December 13th. And over the next few months into 2020, continued to raise his personal best all the way up to 3 meters and 70, which is almost 12 feet. At the time, that also qualified him at the age of 16 for the character games that year. So within a few months, he went from entering the sport to already being not only a national qualifier for character, but someone who would have gone to those games and been highly competitive for a medal for St. Lucia. 4 weeks before the character games, the COVID protocols, of course, canceled those. Not just those games, but the games the year after. So we were working with a great athlete, and frankly, the best athlete I've ever worked with in 15 years down here, who now unfortunately had to miss 2 character games in a row. He weighs about 210 pounds now. He's a big, strong, athletic athlete, and he carries a lot of force with him on the runway. And unfortunately, our poles were made for someone who's 170 pounds. So it was like he was trying to vault on a piece of spaghetti that wasn't giving him any extra energy at the top end. And he knew he wouldn't have his best potential vaults, but he had to make the most with the equipment that we had. He qualified for the character games. He went up to Jamaica along with his teammate Rashid James. That's where he ended up opening up a 3 meter 70 at the meet. At that point, that put him pretty much in medal position. And then we were going for the win. And we went back and forth with another talented vaulter. But again, we didn't have the right equipment. His pole was made for someone 180 pounds. We did the best we could. We ended up with 4 meters 10 at the Carifta Games. That was St. Lucia's first medal in any event for athletics at the Carifta Games since 2015. So we felt satisfied that we went in, did the best with the equipment we had, and we took care of business and brought home some hardware. As we get ready now for the national championships at the end of this month in June, certainly we're hoping that we get some new poles that can arrive on the island to get him above the 5 meter mark. And he's working now academically to ensure that he's ready when colleges come knocking, and he still is eligible for next year's Carifta Games as well.
My name is Jeremiah Felix. I'm 18 years old. I'm the 2022 silver medalist at the Carifta Games for St. Lucia in the men's pole vault. Sports was always in my family. Like my dad said, he played cricket. And I always had a passion for track and field, mainly track and field. But in secondary school, I used to fight a lot. So my first sport, I used to get into so much fights. So my first sport was generally boxing. So I went to boxing. I boxed for about 4 years, and I was doing a lot of different events. I was doing long jump, high jump, a lot of the races, more middle distance. But I had no passion for none of the events. So one day I came upon pole vault from my brother. That was when I was kind of quitting track and field. And then my dad encouraged me to just go to practice with my brother at pole vault. But I just went up to the coach and I said, yo, I really like that sport. I wanna try it out. And then things just went from there. Because before I was even doing pole vault, I dropped out, and then things just took a turn. And through all that, my coach was by my side supporting me, and he really wanted me to come back to sports academy because I didn't write CXC. That was and I'm 18 years old. I didn't write CXC, so that was a big
Jeremiah. I feel like we have a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
From that video.
A lot.
Of course, pole vault was not the first sport that you tried out, and your dad called you out in the beginning for, you know, traits of aggression when you were in school. What was really driving that for you? And I guess that has something to do with your chase for the adrenaline rush with pole vault.
For me, I was super hyper, and I always wanted to be the leader, the boss of anything I did. So that got me into a lot of fights because I had a very loud mouth and a smart mouth. And whatever I say would offend someone, and you know, and the thing that got me into a lot of fights and put me down that hole in secondary school life is I used to hate people for their mouth. Like whatever you say to me, if it offends me, I would hit you, and that's what caused all those problems.
All right, but you've been able to channel that energy through your sport now.
Yeah. And my dad encouraged me to go to boxing. So when I did boxing for about 4 years, and it calmed my temper down extremely. I lost the temper. I started realizing life is not about, you know, hitting people. My coach always used to, the boxing coach used to always tell me, like, you could really go to jail for like injuring someone with your hands. So he encouraged me, and I never hit someone in the face again.
In the face.
Because you came in tonight, and I would never thought that you were an aggressive type.
The big smile.
If you saw me from before, you wouldn't like my personality, man. I was aggressive. I always wanted to be right. I never wanted to hear anything you have to say. But now all those habits, all those things just dropped. Boxing took all that away.
We love to see the change. I mean, it really speaks to the fact that sports help to develop you holistically, not just physically. Because look at you making big emotional and mental change. I love to see it.
All right, and coming from such a background and not letting that put you down, not looking at the past and letting it keep you down, but you have grown and you have many achievements now. And even one of those achievements was even more recently at the Carifta Games 2022. For everyone who doesn't know, we're in the presence of a silver medalist.
I actually have the medal.
Oh, you actually have the medal?
And he actually has the medal as well.
He has it on. Bring it out.
So we'll be seeing.
A quick little outfit change. He was ready.
He was ready.
I was waiting for the right moment.
All right. So just walk us through that campaign, challenges, or just your experience at the Carifta Games.
For me, for going at the Carifta Games was a big deal. But not like a big deal because my goals were very much higher. The Carifta Games was just for us just to sweep the podium, just get a couple medals for St. Lucia, but we have higher heights we want to go to. But I never thought that Carifta would have been how hyped it was. And then when the competition started, I realized that I'm not the only one who's nervous. I'm watching everybody else shake whilst I'm shaking.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as the competition started, like just like a race, as soon as the gun go off, all those nerves just fly. Yeah. But the Carifta Games it's a very good, because they run the Carifta Games like an Olympic or Diamond League.
Yeah.
That's how they run it. It's just so hyped. So many people come around, but the Carifta Games was just a stepping stone for bigger successes that I have to achieve.
All right, and I hope that everybody paid attention to the Carifta Games and what Team St. Lucia had going on, because we have a poll going on our Instagram page in our stories, and all you have to do is answer as many questions correctly as you can. The questions are centered around our guest this evening, Jeremiah Felix, and a lovely young lady you will be meeting later on. Well, she was on the fire. Naomi London is here as well, and you get the chance to win a KFC voucher. Now, Karim and I are holding them here. We have a few of them to go out, so we're looking forward to seeing your responses. We're also open to questions down in the comments. If you have any questions for Jeremiah, you could just drop them down below.
All right. But just sticking on the Carifta a little bit more, I think you had an interest in time meddling because I think there was a little situation between you and the guy who actually placed first. So if you can just walk us through, you clearing, I think you had cleared 4 and then something happened around that time. So could you just explain to the people
how you ended up?
Yeah, how you ended up getting that silver medal.
I'm not gonna say I was tired, but I was because the competition was long. It was so frustrating, so many errors. Javelin was going on, whilst pole vault was going on. So they're trying to run the 2 events together, and it's not working. So they took off time of pole vault to give the javelin first time.
Wow.
Yeah, so it messed all of us up. And at the time you're talking about, where he cleared 4.20, and then no, he cleared 410.
Okay.
And I cleared 410. I couldn't clear the other heights because I was already in gold medal position. But what they didn't realize they did, I actually, when I vaulted, I actually realized I made a mistake, so I stopped in the air, so I stopped all the energy in the pole. And then I came back down, but as soon as you touch the mat, that's a foul. Now the officials didn't realize it, so they still had the white flag up. So I'm watching the officials, I'm like, what are you, I didn't say anything, I'm just watching him, and I'm seeing the clock still running, it's like 2 minutes something. I said, didn't he just say I touched the mat? I didn't say anything, he told me go back on the runway. I said, okay, let's go back, and then I cleared that. Yeah, I just took full advantage of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be dynamic with what's going on, like Musas, Jeremiah Musasa.
Sure.
But he took the goal because I realized his top end is much better than mine.
Okay.
His top end meaning his inversion, his ability to get upside down is much better than mine. But I've been working on a lot of strength and upper body. But since through the whole of May, I've been working through the upside down part.
But speaking about strength, you're actually quite built for a pole vault. I think you're about 200 pounds. Was that something you guys worked on?
The last time I checked my weight, I was about 211 pounds.
Okay.
I don't know what's so heavy.
You're pretty tall as well, so all that too.
Okay, cool. So another thing I noticed through the video, it seems your father has a lot of love for you, and I know you said that I don't say troubled youth there, but you got into a lot of altercations, and then it's so easy at that time for people to, let's say, give up on you, or let's say
give up because
so just speak about that support and how they continue to support you even through all those times, and now they can see you on some of the biggest stages in the Caribbean and hopefully in the world.
Well, all the trouble I got in, he used to always encourage me. But every time he encouraged me to stay out of trouble, I would get back into trouble because I wasn't listening.
Right.
I was always about, you had
to be right.
Yeah, I used to say something like, God put us on this earth to be all we can be. And I used to always tell him that. So I think going into fights was nothing but every single altercation, because in that school I did a lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff.
Now we have to ask, what principal were you giving this much stress? What school is this?
That was George Charles.
So we have to send a flower basket or something, a fruit basket to the principal of George Charles.
But he still say, all he had to say, like, I just was a troublesome fella.
Oh.
He's probably very proud of you now.
But like I said, boxing took all that away. But my father encouraged me to just, he knew, because my father used to fight a lot. So the stories he used to give me is like, I took his temper. He said I took his temper.
Oh gosh.
So that's why I used to get in all those fights, and my grandfather is the same way.
That's probably why he knew how to deal with it so well.
Yes. But I will say you have channeled that in a proper way, and now you can use that to...
Yeah, I took that aggression and I put it into boxing first.
Right.
And then I took that aggression and I brought it into pole vault. Yeah. That's basically what I did.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Throughout your training process, pole vault, from my understanding at least, my very shallow understanding of the sport, is more, relatively new in St. Lucia in terms of establishing itself with associations and everything like that. Do you have any inspirations coming from St. Lucia or elsewhere in the Caribbean in your event?
No, not really. Pole vault is not a sexy event in the Caribbean. That's one thing I can say. It's not a sexy event because whenever people think about pole vault, first thing that comes to mind, man, you're gonna break your neck.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
But yeah, so it's not a sexy event in the Caribbean, but people still support when we had the street vault we had a street vault in the market, and a lot of people came to support, a lot of people came to see. But that's all
Of
the
course.
support we
What?
got. Yeah.
People flying? Of course.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that people think about breaking their necks or whatever,
Yeah.
and pole vaulting again is not a conventional
Yeah, I always-
event that we go to. So, but then in the video, I noticed you have a couple times you fail, right?
A lot.
What does that feel like to be suspended in the air at that time, not knowing
You know?
what's going? Like, how does that feel for you as
What
an
do you
athlete?
think
and
about?
going breaking that mental barrier? I would say.
Oh, it is a mental barrier.
Oh.
It is. Because getting upside down, we weren't born upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, man.
I see. But basically, you gotta get. Okay, our body's not used to being upside down.
Yeah.
So we basically do a lot of training in getting our body upside down. So when it's get ready to execute that technique, we can do it easily
Right.
Okay.
and with ease.
If you have a sleepover with Jeremiah, you might find him sleeping like a bat.
Be upside down. Yeah. But so you've been a member of the St. Lucia pole vaulting program for how many years now?
4.
And so you're I want to say relatively, new.
Yeah.
You're relatively new, and again, you're still performing so well. But if you say 4 years, I think 2 of those years would have to be affected by COVID.
COVID, yeah.
Definitely
So
COVID.
how did you develop even through that time when we saw a lapse in sports? We saw no sporting events.
Curve was postponed
Character was
repeatedly.
postponed, and I mean, it's 2 of your 4 years, literally.
Yeah.
So how was that time for you?
Even through COVID, we were training. It didn't matter because we had faith that even if they postpone character, because they basically taking years off my age.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if they postpone character, we were like, they will. So we had faith they will run it a full time. They will run
Yeah.
it, and they did. So that's the year they did.
So you had more time to train, and that
I was taking full advantage of it. I was saying, okay, through I don't sound, but I was saying, through COVID, and I was saying, everybody's sick, whatever, the athlete's sick. No. I was saying through COVID, I'm gonna take full advantage since everybody's
Downtime.
worried about wearing a mask, pandemic, all of that. My coach was calling me every day. We need to train. We need to take full advantage of. Because we need to take full advantage of it because since no athlete's gonna be training, we the ones gonna be training down here. So when it's time for when character is open up, we can just come and just swipe the podium. Everyone is just new. Everyone is rusty, just coming back.
Yeah,
How often do you train?
I train about we used to do 7, not 7. Not 7
Oh
days
gosh,
a
I would say 7 days a week.
5 days a week, but now we
5
cut it
days
down
a
to
week.
4. We don't train on a Friday anymore.
Karim, do you have anything you do 7 days a week other than breathe?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah. But we've spoken about, let's say, your time through COVID. We've spoken about character. Where does Jeremiah see himself? Do you see yourself continuing pole vault? Maybe, is it going to lose the risk factor after some years? Just where do you?
It does happen.
Okay.
It's basically because the bar never goes down, it
Right,
goes higher.
higher, right.
So because the first time I cleared 4 meters, it was just nothing for me. But I know the bar keeps on going higher. But the way I see myself, I have some big goals for pole vault. Unfortunately, I have some humongous goals. I definitely want to be the highest jumper because I'm dedicating my whole life to pole vaulting. That's how far I want to reach in pole. That's the passion I have for the sport. I don't have that kind of passion for fighting, boxing. I just did that to bring down my temper. But I have my coach can tell you I have some big goals for pole vault coming up. But since the equipment is just coming in, that's when you're gonna see the real, my real potential coming out now.
You know how amazing it is to be 18 years old and already know what you want to do with your life?
Yeah, and he says
That's
it's
such a blessing.
conviction as well too, you know.
Yeah.
I cannot say anything in my life.
I can say I found my passion. Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah.
I definitely found my passion because when you find your passion in life, you can just go with it. You trust
Yeah.
it. This is the journey. This is what I have to do. And
You really set out your route map.
yeah,
Right.
wherever the journey takes me, it takes me.
So, you spoke about, you know, discovering that passion, but what made it different from, let's say, the boxing? Because I know you said you used that to calm down yourself, yeah? But if we're talking about risk, you know, boxing has its risks as well. So, what made you really fall in love with pole vaulting? Is it that you just wanted to fall? I don't know if you want to fall from such
I wanted
a
to
height.
You wanted to
You wanted to fly.
Yeah.
So, how does that feel for you? Like when you're in the air, when you're clearing that bar, is it like a relief? Is it?
It's an amazing feeling. It's like a flow. A great vault is when you vault and you actually whistle throughout your whole vault. Like that's a great vault right there. I do it sometimes on bad days. I actually do that. But what you said about what changed it for me in boxing, I was tired of getting hit in the head.
So you don't like
Yeah, I was
Kind of
tired
tall
getting-
too,
yeah.
so reaching.
So that's why I was actually living. Let's come on the boxing. Let's go back to track and check out what track I'm going for me.
We have a question coming up for you in the forum. Earlier on, we did speak about the situation at Carifta that wound up with you placing second.
Yeah.
The people want to know what's your relationship, or what was the vibe between you and the person who placed with gold after the announcement was made?
All right, that's a good question. Since when the competition began, my mindset was okay. Don't talk to anybody.
Okay.
Don't look at anybody. If you watch the videos, you could see I'm walking around. I'm not staring at anyone. I'm on my own vibe. And after a time, I
Focus.
just said, "What am I doing, man? I should be just talking to all the guys."
Networking.
Yeah. And after I don't want to call him my rival, but the guy who placed, first he came up to me. He was like, "Why are you so aggressive, man?" Yeah.
Really?
He asked me why, because I gave him a look because I wanted to intimidate him. You know, the boxing feeling
You know
come
you-
back.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I gave him a look. I was like, "Dude, you're not beating me, man." I see, because I know his results. Yeah, so he asked me why I'm so aggressive, man. I said, "I'm not aggressive, man. I just don't want you to beat me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just took it from there, and we just started talking. We talked throughout the whole event. He supported me, I supported him, and we just went from there.
That's amazing. And a follow-up to that, they'd also like to know what, if anything, would you do differently the next time around to potentially get your hands secured on that gold medal?
What would I do differently?
Yeah.
What would I do differently? I would have a better attitude coming on the track, like the attitude I have. I was intimidating everyone. Everyone, not everyone, because a guy was telling me like, "Dude, I don't want to talk to you because you're giving me that vibe
Oh gosh.
of a fight vibe." So I said, "Okay, good, but can you answer it again?"
Oh, just what, if anything, would you do differently?
I'll bring my poles.
You'd bring your own
My
poles?
own poles. That's
Okay.
all. Yeah, we had to adapt to Jamaica poles,
Yeah.
but it still didn't matter. I still went out there and executed.
So far
Yeah.
less if he had his own poles.
Yeah, if he has his own pole.
That's
Performance
all I
would
would
be
have changed.
100.
I wouldn't change anything about the environment. I would have just bring my own poles.
So
Right,
you don't think like
amazing.
there was any technical things that you could have maybe changed with
Maybe
your
like
vaulting? Because
yeah.
I think I remember you said there was an issue when you were trying to vault. I'm not too sure. But is there anything technical improvements you think you could have made?
There's an issue. I was trying to change. Oh yes, there was an issue. The pole that I used
Alright.
Yeah.
was a very soft pole, but I'm used to jumping on very hard, stiff poles because I'm heavy.
Right.
Those are the poles that can support me.
Yeah.
So when and that was the only pole they had, a 185,
Oh.
15.7, and that's the pole I just had to go with. And every time I vault, it would do this humongous bend, and in that bend, I'm making decisions like that. I'm saying now the pole is bending as much as I don't want it to. So when it does that, you have to pause for a second and let it just release that bend.
Right.
So then I go into the upside down face and do that.
All right. Well, I feel like we've had a very heavy discussion. Jeremiah, thank you so much for being here with us this evening. We're actually looking forward to seeing what else you have coming up for the rest of the year.
Trust me, you'll read about me years from now.
I like how you proclaim
We'll be
things.
writing about you.
Proclaim things. I like that about you.
You read about me years from now.
Amazing. As for right now, we are heading into a quick break, and when we get back, we'll be in with our second guest.
Yes.
Are you looking to broaden your career opportunities? Future-proof your career with a bachelor's degree from the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. We've introduced new cutting-edge degree programs in Environmental Studies and Sustainability, Tourism and Hospitality, Business Administration, and Public Health. Online platforms are making it easier than ever before to further your education and mask your competitive advantage. This is the game changer you've been waiting for. Get the highest return on your investment in the OECS from the college you trust. Visit salcc.edu.lc. Apply today for September 2021.
Oi, boss. No, sorry. Excuse me, boss. Can I please be excused to go pay my driver's license?
Okay, I have to do mine as well. I'll do it later.
Okay, I'll see you on the line.
This is Edgar. He's going on the line. This is Caleb. Caleb does not go on the line. He takes care of his transactions online. Caleb uses the DigiGov platform. With DigiGov, he can access and pay for government services using a computer, tablet, or mobile device. DigiGov allows you to apply for and renew your driver's and vehicle permits, submit registrations, and pay fees at various other government agencies. Simply get online and sign up for a DigiGov account today.
Sorry it took so long, boss. Traffic was hectic, line was long. You'll not make it today?
Make it? I'm done. Come.
Don't be like Edgar, be like Caleb. Take back your time, get off the line, and get online with DigiGov, serving people and businesses with that island love.
Welcome back to Crossroads again, if in case you forgot.
It's
The
your
best
favorite show, yep.
on national television. And just to remind you guys, we are live on Facebook, and do get engaged on the polls on Instagram.
On Instagram.
So, you know, stay first there.
We just have to answer a couple simple questions over on Instagram about our guests this evening. So I hope you are paying attention during the first section of the show, and that you have your notepad out and ready to gather some questions from our guests.
Yes, and we're in the presence of, you know,
The
greatness.
fastest
The
woman
fastest woman on
in
island.
St. Lucia. What?
The fastest woman, you know. So, yes, Naomi London is here with us. Naomi, how are you feeling tonight? What's the emotions like?
Great and calm.
Amazing.
Well, the fastest woman, calm.
Yeah.
So, but fastest woman. First of all, talk about that title, man.
How does that
make you,
title feel? The
make you feel?
fastest woman in the only country in the world to be named after a woman.
You caught me there. It's just a great title, and I let's say elated about that name because I know I can be the fastest woman. And I got a name from my aunt, Bolter. It was after Bolt, so I made it. She named me Bolter, and I up to today I still use Bolter at some of my passwords, but I moved it out.
Oh, I was just saying, I don't think
I moved it out, and yeah, I still use that word because it motivates me to know that I am a fast little girl coming up in St. Lucia, and I'm hoping to be the next Olympian of St. Lucia and the first woman alive to represent St. Lucia in its sport colors, and be proud to say that I'm a St. Lucian who represented on the big stage wherever. Yeah.
Amazing. Just like Jeremiah, big goals.
Yeah.
He's 18. How old are you?
15. Yes, I'm
15.
15. And
Wow.
I have some big dreams. I want to be the fastest woman alive. Yeah, that's a big dream. Yeah,
boundary.
and well,
You're definitely on the right
You'll
trajectory.
get it.
yeah, I want to be the fastest woman in St. Lucia, and after, obviously, I'll be retiring. So I would want to put a step back and help the kids who would like to be an athlete in the future and help the young ones. Give out to the schools who in need of items. And I would like to be an entrepreneur, invest in my business in track, have some nice clothes, track suits and pants, etc.
But I like how both of them have these life goals, you know. When I was 15, I wasn't thinking of all those things, but
I was a much more ambitious 15-year-old than Kareem.
it's good that you guys actually have a plan and you're working towards it. But again, you know, we can sit there and talk about it.
Yeah.
Or we can get into the videos.
Yes, so let's let Lucia have a look at Naomi London.
Well, Naomi Ants, and I used to be there with Naomi London. When I am at the sport meet, everybody will think that I am Naomi Mams, because Naomi Mams will just there like a dead lady, and then I am around running everywhere. That child did something when she was like 3 to 4 years old, and I run to get that child, and when up to now I cannot get up to these days, and everybody like, I get so tired, I sit and I cannot get the child. My name is Zara London, mother of Naomi London. At the age of 4, Naomi attended the early childhood preschool. She was a quiet child, but still the teacher used to tell me that she wasn't settled. That's the only complaint I got to Naomi. Transitioning to kindergarten, Naomi was still that unsettled child. Being a single parent, it was a little tough for me too, because trying to raise that child on my own, being a mother and a father, and trying to get her settled in school and being that mother role was a little difficult for me. But thank God I had my parents and my family there with me, rooting with me. Bellevue Combined School was preparing for a meet, and the teacher came to me and told me that Naomi is doing something in the school. I wanted to find out. She was only 5 at the time. She ran with the under 7, she won. She won the 9, she won. She won the 11, she won. I think they were in awe that they saw a child running extremely fast against those children that she was older than. I wasn't surprised myself because I was an athlete as well. I grew up in the community of Bellevue. We had our track. We built that relationship where Naomi was my mother, she was my mentor, she was my chef. I mean, now she's my chef. She is my motivator. She builds me. She makes me who I am. She gives me strength. When we go to track, she doesn't even see me. She sees her aunt, which is saying that I am dead. Because Naomi Mams will just there like a dead lady. But transitioning now to secondary school, Naomi does the same thing. She gives her 100 in school. She's above average in her school. And I'm 100% sure that she'll continue making us proud. Okay, I am Johnny Fontenelle, principal of the Bellevue Combined School. Naomi is my cousin, but she calls me auntie. I also adopted her as my godchild since her godmother passed away. It has been amazing at the Bellevue Combined School with the Princess of Track, like we call her. From grade K, Naomi has been performing very well. Academically, she's an A student. Sports-wise, Naomi has had Bellevue Combined School and District 6 and the rest of St. Lucia in awe. In kindergarten, I remember Mr. Kenyatta Shalwi came and he told me, Mrs. Fontenelle, you know Naomi is the best student right now at the school. She's even beating the students in grade 6. I was like, what? And from then on, the child has been at the top of the district. Under 9, Naomi was the best. Under 11, under 13, but we knew one thing. Anytime Naomi went on that track, we would win a race. We in Bellevue, we will continue to be in awe. And we know that Naomi is going to be the top internationally and locally.
My name is Claude Chalmine, Youth Development and Sports Officer for the Southern Region. I'm also the coach for Naomi London. This is a young lady I met from the age of 8 as a little child. Her mom brought her to me to assume responsibility of a coach. And of course, I have been paying very careful attention to her development. I must say, from a child, she's a very competitive person. She even hit the boys to beat her, much less to have a female defeat her at training. So I saw that this is somebody that would have, of course, translate that to performances on the track. And at every inter-house or inter-secondary school meet that I have attended with her, it has been a joy to watch her compete, because she's always head and over heels ahead of the pack. As a coach, I've traveled with her to Hampton Games in Trinidad, where she gave a sterling performance in Trinidad. Shook down the stands at 9 years. And of course, she have also represented St. Lucia at the CUT Games level. And most recently, the Carifta Games in Jamaica. I must say she gave a very good account of herself, given the situation that she found herself in. We have been working very hard, assiduously. She has another competition coming up. This is on the 25th of June, which we expect her to give a bump in the time again, to drop her time significantly. When we look at Naomi London and St. Lucia, I think St. Lucia can invest in such a talent, as the Ministry of Youth and Sports have been doing. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we're hoping to be able to deliver a gold medal for St. Lucia at the regional level of competition. And I have no doubt, with her disposition, with her talent, and the kind of investment and time that I put into this training for her, and also all the other young athletes that I have, I know that we're going to be able to represent the nation, represent St. Lucia, and make our nation, our community, and the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports very proud.
Yes, I am Gillian Pulley. I hail from the community of Bellevue in Vieux-Fort. I am Naomi's cousin, but I'm the uncle, according to her, that she turns to for everything. Yeah, I must say, when Naomi was growing up, after her first race, I said, darling, you ran like you had a pit bull chasing you. And I told her to continue with that attitude until I see her at the Olympics. But growing up, riding a bike, I saw that Naomi was a true talent. I think I just placed her on that bike for the first time, and she was able to go around the playing field. With the ball, the very same thing. In the kitchen too, she's my cook. She's my best chef. So you could see she's very multi-talented. And academically also, she takes pride in her work. She takes pride in everything she does. I'm always there with her, every step of the way.
Right. Kendall Elver, Social Transformation Officer for Vieux-Fort North and South. So as a social transformation officer, I would visit the school. I would dialogue with the teachers, the principal, Mrs. Johnny Fontenelle, to find out about her progress, what she was getting engaged in. And it was brought to my attention that even being a student in grade K, Naomi was able to run with students who were way older, and she would place first. I taught for 11 years at Campus B and 1 year at Bellevue combined. And I keep track of how Naomi is performing at Campus B, and Naomi gets averages in the range of the 70s and the 80s. And that says to me that she is able to strike the balance which is required when it comes to athletics and also academic performance. I feel extremely proud to know someone like Naomi London, and we are anticipating that her development will not be compromised, and that the government of St. Lucia will support her in every way possible.
I love you, Mimi! Ah, good girl. High five.
all I can say
Oh my gosh.
is wow. That was really heartwarming. I could almost feel the support
The love
through
coming through the
screen.
screen.
And I mean, that is even showed this evening because we have some of your family here with you.
We have a whole
so
squad.
I
You
could
should
feel
sing.
I could feel the support.
Naomi, I just want to say I'm almost disappointed that you're not catering tonight because everybody spoke so well about your cooking.
But just speak to us about having, you know, that love from your family and even from members of the community to like supporting you so much, even from a young age. Just speak about that support you have received.
My support from my family is incredible. Like I said, anything I want, I will get. The love is very strong, so I'll be out there, I'll be seeing a whole squad, let's go Naomi, let's go Naomi. And they'll be like, don't stop until you see the end of the line, just go. I'll be like, okay. Like everybody's out there, like, come on Naomi, come on Naomi. I'll be like, okay, I have to make my family proud, I have to be on that track, just go out there and do my best. So my family is there for me 24/7, as you said a while ago. There's a squad back there, just there supporting me. I really love and adore how they support me throughout my years, and I know they will be there in my future.
Amazing. And something that was highlighted throughout the video, I think everybody mentioned it, is that in grade K, you were beating children under 7, under 9, grade 6. Now, if I was a boy in grade 6 and I see they bring a little grade K child on the track, I would not be intimidated. You know, what was that like for you, seeing, oh my gosh, I beaten all these kids already?
I will not say I felt like I'm the baddest, but I knew the boys would be like, okay, she thinks she fast, she thinks she fast. I'll be like, yes, I know I fast. And it would feel great, like I know I'm faster than everybody in the school, nobody can test me. Still, up to now, in St. Lucia. And I love the feeling that even if I'm the fastest, they still show love. I show love to them. And it's just like a whole family together in the school. So the boys and the girls is quite, well, me and the boys is quite good. I don't hang around girls that much. I would say I'm a boy person because I feel more, you know, boyish around boys.
But you know, just to stick on just family for a little bit, I couldn't help but notice that a few persons in that video said, you know, they were athletes themselves. Growing up, I know Vincent Bijou, London. Also, he was a triple jumper. Speak about that. You know, how athletics has played a part in kind of your family, and maybe how that inspired you to.
Okay. From 5, when I ran, I saw my talent in track, and there was a day when my mom told me, Naomi, you didn't know I used to run too. My other family used to do cricket, and I saw that I loved cricket. I did table tennis, football, but track was the main sport I saw my talent in. And I noticed all my family members were engaged in the sport because my godmother loves track. You literally see her come there and she's like, she have a sneakers on, she's prepared to go out there. She's ready to go and run. It's like she's the coach. And I think that all of this energy gave me more love to the sport. And I cherished it, and I'm right here today because of the sport.
Amazing. And in school, I think 15 is around the age you're figuring out what do you want to do for CXC. So what direction are you going in regards to that?
School, I'm doing the business stream right now. And I'm an A student. I am a high achiever in my class, 90% up. I'm hoping to keep them grades as I'm going along to Form 5. My stepdad, also known as my father, always told me, just keep your head up in hard times. School and track will not always be easy, and I have to put the time and the effort if I want to go out there and give my best.
Right. So, but how is it balancing that though? Because like, I would imagine, you know, it's very difficult to keep the
Yeah.
grades up and also
Yeah.
go to training after
Yeah.
after those lessons, and so just maybe speak about that a little bit.
Track and education is a tough call. Having to study, having to train. Now let me tell you, I don't study. I would browse through my books and train. I'll not get tired. It's like I'll come from training, do my homework. It will just stick in there. Like next class, the next day if I have an exam, pass. Flying.
Your brain's moving as fast as your feet.
Like my brain's moving just as fast as my feet. Like I don't need to study, but I'll browse for it because you know you cannot go in an exam and not know what you're about.
Yeah.
But balancing training and education is tough because some students don't have the kind of mindset that I do. Because at the end of the day, if you love the sport, you need to put the effort. You need to have the time to engage in the sport.
Yeah.
And well, it's the same thing to education. If you want to pass, if you want to aim, if you want to have A grades, you need to have the effort and the time. So basically, when you balance both and you love it the most, you will succeed the same way.
How often do you train?
I currently train 6 days a week. Sunday, rest.
Okay.
Because, as you all know, Nationals is coming up.
Yeah.
And I want to put out a bang.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I like that energy. I like that energy a lot. But your track career has taken you, you know, to the regional stage. First CUT in 2019, and most recently this year at the Carifta Games.
Yeah.
Just speak about being at that event. How was it for you? I know, you may have had a few challenges there, but just speak about how it was for you.
You saying Carifta or CUT?
Carifta.
Carifta, okay. Carifta. Entering Carifta with that energy. Yes, I'm going out there. Yes, I'm proud to be a solution. You know, I won that medal. I think everybody has that grass to go and get that gold medal.
Yeah.
Going to the school where we stay. I'm seeing all the other countries, like I got scared. That's not me. I was like, okay, something's wrong. Not knowing that I was intimidated by people saying about, okay, she's fast. She has a faster time. This girl also chattering, and that led me to a down zone. Like Jeremiah was saying, he was the one intimidating people. Right? And I was being intimidated by just the chattering. And I noticed that is not good. So I put my mind to a different level. Like I was like, okay, Naomi, need to focus. And I called my coach. Unfortunately, he didn't come. I called my coach. He relaxed me, told me just focus, go out there, execute how you was planned, and just go into the race, execute it perfectly. And I went out there in the first race. As you all saw, I placed second in the heats. It was not a big deal, just second in the heats. Right. Semis came out there. I placed third. Now after the semis, there was a in and out tough call. I got an injury. I pulled my groin, and I still went out there to run because I was like, I still have to go out there, give it one more shot. I went to the finals. When the gun blowed, I pushed out. I was like, no. I felt the pull. I was like, no. And then I still went out. It's just go, New, just move. I was like, I was not getting no. I was like, no. And then as I started to reach the finishing line, I was like, just deep. Just go out and just deep. You represented your country proud. You did your best at the end of the day. You know you still have like 4 years again in Carifta. It's just my first year. I'm still young. I'm just learning the environment and how everything works. So I'm hoping next Carifta it's gonna get
it's only up from here.
Yep.
She's already wearing the color, Kareem.
I like all the
Keep up.
conviction. Yeah. I'm locking.
Yeah.
But I will say, because I was watching the event and your name flashed up for the finalists of the 200. I'm looking to see you in the lane. I'm like, where's Naomi?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had an injury.
Yeah.
But again, these situations, there's two outcomes. We either let them keep us down or we move forward.
Mhm.
So for you going through that, maybe you saw it as maybe your breakout opportunity. But moving forward, how do you use those lessons to better yourself?
How would I use those lessons to better myself? I would change them into positivity. So even if I am injured, there's more to come. Just work on it. Every single day, work on it. Because right now I'm slowly working on the injury to get back to my A game right now. So those lessons taught me to be strong. You will have challenges where you face and you'll be at your down point, but you still have to put your head up and just go out there with a smile on your face and pull through, work through it. And a day, that day you're ready, you're prepared to go out there and do your best like you was planned with your coach and execute it properly. And I think from there, go on.
I think Naomi gave us the perfect message for us to wrap up tonight's show. I don't even know what to say. Wow. Yes. So we have a femme fatale, as they say, on our hands. She's young, she's beautiful, she can cook. She's fast, she's educated. We can only imagine where you are going to go. And they say, the sky's the limit, but they have space tourism now. So the sky's not the limit again. And I don't think the sky is high enough for Naomi.
But I just want to note that you kind of had a kind of quiet 2021, and then with your 2022, it kind of got hindered with this injury. But I know nationals are coming up, and there are other competitions coming. For you, what are you doing to stay focused to be able to, medal at those events coming up?
What am I doing to stay focused?
Yeah.
What am I doing to stay focused? Keep track. Watch YouTube videos. Watch my role model. Watch how she goes through the running. Eat healthy. Go training every day.
Who's the role model? Not to cut you short, but who's
my role model? Shelly Fraser.
Of course.
She's short just like me. Same, I guess I'm not even reaching the floor.
I was saying that Jeremiah could have adjusted the seat.
Yeah, watch videos, go to train hard, keep my head up because I know there's more coming for me. I have a lot of potential that no one has known as yet that I'm going to put out soon. And yeah.
Well, Naomi, we're looking forward to speaking to you again. I mean, you have big things coming. You'll be seeing Karim and I again very soon on various platforms. We just want to remind everybody that's viewing that you need to head on over to our Instagram page and use the information that you gained this evening or throughout the character games on Naomi and Jeremiah. Fill out those polls and get your hands on a KFC voucher.
So I want to thank Naomi for coming through.
Absolutely.
At your age, 15, only one person has run faster than you from St. Lucia, and that is Julian Alfred. So you're in very good company because she's the third fastest
woman in the world
right now.
Amazing.
So you are in good company, and I want to thank both you and Jeremiah for coming through,
and the whole squad
and
from
the whole
Bellevue.
squad, big enough. The squad from Bellevue.
Can we hear something from the squad from Bellevue, please?
So yes, and also thank you to the audience for always tuning in and seeing what the best of St. Lucia, what St. Lucia has to offer. So thank you guys for tuning in.
And have a good night.